great in the UK, in Europe, and in other parts of the world. And they're coming home to see how they can jack up what's happening at home, to see how they can level up with development, as the case may be. I have some of them in the studio, and certainly I'll introduce them to you. First of all, I have the Director of Public Affairs at Edo State, Prince Gregor Gigwa, a friend of the house in the house. It's good to see you.
Hey, man.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right. And then I have from Dublin, Ireland, I have Evans Ilozobie. Did I pronounce the name well?
Yeah, you're close to it. Ilozobie.
Ilozobie, okay.
Yeah.
I love African names. They're wonderful. It's good to see you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And then I have Dr. Pius Enehikari. Enehikari? Enehikari.
Yes.
Okay, the R is pronounced.
I know it now.
Okay.
No silent.
All right. He is in the UK, and it's good to have all of you back home. Now, but let me start with you, Prince. First of all, we used to hear much about brain drain. And people say that, or make us understand, in fact, right from schools, brain drain is adverse. It's not pro-Africa. It is anti-Africa or anti-Africa, as the case may be. What's your take on this?
It's relative. At times, brain drain is necessary. It helps to build up a crop of enlightened and globally articulate people or professionals. Japan went through a phase of like that, where they sent out a lot of the Japanese to go to America to understudy the technology and the processes of production and even their lifestyle. And then they came back home and used that experience to develop the Japanese technology and economy. So you find out that it does have its own advantages. And then also because we know that the diasporans contribute to Africa, to Africa they contribute somewhere in the region of about $10 billion a year. And that's money that's coming from overseas, from the Western world and Asia into Africa as a result of money remittances back home. Yes. We know that Edo State has the largest number of diasporans, basically concentrated across the world. And we know that Edo State attracts the largest remittance. You know, Western Union started here in Benin, and MoneyGram and so on and so forth. So we know that there's a large inflow of foreign exchange that comes into Edo State. It is how to now, but it comes in a very, very informal manner, and it is not channeled into developmental activities. So you usually do not see the effect. You only see somebody opening a barbing salon, a hairdressing salon, a business center, because his sister or brother sent him some money from overseas. So what we're trying to do now is to see if we can get them together, and articulate this inflow of foreign capital. And not just the funds, but also their skills, because they all are qualified in different ways, and they all have different skills and different contacts, global contacts. So we want to see if we can articulate this, and make it a formal developmental thrust. And we've had talks in the UK a couple of months ago, and they then promised that they will come to Nigeria and come and take a look, come to Edo State and see for themselves. Some of them have investments in other parts of Nigeria. It's just that we're telling them that, look, if the Chinese and the Vietnamese are coming to invest in Edo State, then then the Edos should start thinking about coming to do the same. Okay. So that's the basis of we're trying to reverse the brain drain.
Okay, fine. That's a good background. Dr. Pius, let me come to you on this. The point there is, those of you who are outside there, when you think back home or listen to news from home, what's your perception about home, Nigeria?
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is security.
Okay.
The fear of your coming back, either losing your investment or losing your life. So when Greg came to UK, we met, we had a meeting, at this town hall meeting, like we call it that way, with our group EDDI, and he promised that we should just come visit him. I'm visiting him, actually. So, so come and visit me. If you don't want to come home, come and visit me and see for yourself.
And see for yourself.
So I've been around since I came during the Easter period. I went back to my village. I live in a very small village. So I came. So yesterday he called me and I came into town again. Okay. So I've been around.
Is that right?
So I've seen some differences, and I'm seeing that security has improved, because where I slept, at least I used the Gen T3. That is not due to the state. At least I'm talking about using Gen 3 because of security. Okay. Before this time, you can't hear that.
maybe somebody will come that put the gen away or knock your door or something like that.
Is it that bad? Has it been that,
it was
bad?
like that at a time.
It was that bad.
Like that at a
Yes,
time.
it was.
So I was even questioning my sister, why don't go and switch off the gen? I said, no, there's nothing to fear. That's okay. The window was open and everything. So I can remember that was in the 70s, that you can open your door and open your window and sleep outside. Even in the 60s when we were young in by the street, you can open your door, open your window, sleep outside. But then now we are like coming back to those days. I was highly impressed with that. So that is that. Anyway, that is just for now.
Okay, it's okay. Evans, you're home now. Are you impressed on the general note, what you're seeing, comparative to what used to be in your mind?
Yes. Before I traveled overseas, I know what the situation was. It was just like I was not patient. Like, I want to personalize that. But trying to come back home now, I discovered that what it used to be, between the lines, things just changed suddenly. Because I happen to be one of those that visit home regularly, and I visit Edo State, which is my state, and I'm proud of it. I discovered that the change that just came suddenly is enough to encourage everybody. And when I look around me, I see, opportunities, lots and lots of opportunities, areas, untapped areas that, that if I sit down, if I say, okay, put pen on paper and define areas where people can go in and get jobs and all those kind of things, I could be naming up to 20. And unfortunately, the people around are not seeing them yet. So the experience that we have put together all over the years have actually removed the regret. I want to put it that way. So we want, what we're actually looking for is the environment must be an enabling one to encourage us to come back home and tap into all those areas, and even tell people these are areas you could go, because most of the time you hear people complaining there are no jobs, and there are jobs, I must say. The unfortunate thing is that people are waiting for the government to create these jobs. I'll give you an instance now. In Italy, I lived in Italy for like 5 years. I discovered that most of the jobs that are available, readily available jobs in Italy, they are not government jobs. When you want to look up for government job, you're looking for the ministry job. But if you think of shoemaking, textile, it's all big time textile producer like designer like Gianni Versace and so on and so forth. Now you see them big company, but you see village turn into, they call them Casa di Vestiteria, that is home of clothes making. Right.
They form themselves into a guild, kind of.
And they will tell you the history of that home has, for the past 50 years, that's what they've been doing, and that's what they will do forever. It's cut across all space of
but do you think that kind of atmosphere is created here? Because when you're talking about that, electricity is one thing.
Yes.
Because you need all that too.
It can be created. It can be created. All it needs is government encouragement. Government have to look into their own side of it. For instance, the electricity you just spoke about. Government have to see, okay, are we going to develop, independent power generation system, which they can do, or are we going to encourage these people to get solar powered system and probably get the bank to finance it for them, because they will be generating money, revenue for the government. So if they have this system in place, you discover that the individual will not even think of, like, they know that there will be money to put up a solar system that will give them electricity, or there will be whatever power generation that the government is has generated that will give them electricity, or even probably the government say, okay, we can make an arrangement to even start subsidizing. It's a matter of sitting down and agreeing. But the unfortunate thing at the moment is that nobody is even thinking of developing the individual self. So the skills that are ready, that are valuable. We were in a meeting 3 days ago where Prince Greg was guest speaker, and he told us so many things that we didn't even know about in Edo State. Even the language that we speak is enough to influence a lot of things, but we don't take advantage of them. So some of us have all these experiences to open up all these areas to open up the individual minds to what they know, and they don't think they think they don't even know those things. Thank you very much.